So very good afternoon and welcome to a new episode of Inside Egypt, where we bring you all the latest political, economic and cultural events taking place here inside Egypt, prepared by our reporters and correspondents at Nile TV International. My name is Angie Meher. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi wrapped up a one-day visit to Uganda, during which he met with the President, Yoweri Museveni, for talks on boosting cooperation between the two countries and amongst Nile Basin countries. During the talks, the two leaders agreed to activate the Joint Committee as soon as possible to increase bilateral economic cooperation. We have more details in this report.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi made a one-day visit to Uganda on Sunday, during which he met with the Ugandan president. President el-Sisi, in his first official visit to Uganda, emphasized the importance of starting the work of a bilateral committee established to carry out several development projects in the fields of energy, water and agriculture. The two heads of state addressed a number of important issues threatening the region, including political instability and terrorism. During the visit, el-Sisi said that terrorism is threatening the sovereignty of countries and called for stopping the plague of extremism to make sure it does not have a negative impact on development. The Ugandan president praised Egypt's decision to send a protection force to help restore peace in South Sudan. He also called for Egypt's support for opposing possible UN sanctions on South Sudan, saying that the move could create a power vacuum and negatively affect the region. According to a statement issued by the presidency at the end of the visit, el-Sisi told his Ugandan counterpart that Egypt is keen to contribute to development in Uganda by increasing Egyptian firms based there and providing technical support in different fields. The Ugandan president agreed to initiate the bilateral committee and spoke at length with President el-Sisi about ways in which both countries could increase commercial exchange and foster stronger economic ties between the two states. Also, during the one-day visit, el-Sisi met with senior Ugandan officials and discussed ways to bilateral relations across all fields, as well as a number of African issues of mutual concern. The two leaders also discussed ways to properly exploit the Nile River water to achieve prosperity for all Nile Basin countries. Moreover, both presidents welcomed the notion of a project which would connect the Mediterranean Sea to Lake Victoria. The project was suggested in 2015 and is strongly supported by Egypt.
Egypt condemned in the strongest terms the assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov, at the Turkish capital, Ankara. Egypt also denounced on Tuesday a truck attack that killed 12 people and injured 50 in Berlin, Germany. Sources said the suspected driver of the truck that plowed into a Christmas market was a 23-year-old migrant from Pakistan. We have the details.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the assassination of Russia's ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov, in Ankara. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement on Monday evening that Egypt extended its condolences to Russia and its people and affirmed Egypt's support for Moscow in its fight against terrorism. The statement said that Egypt reminds all countries of international conventions to provide protection to diplomatic missions, particularly with the ongoing threat of terrorism. Egypt also denounced on Tuesday a truck attack that killed 12 people in Germany. Earlier on Sunday, the Foreign Ministry issued another statement on terrorism. The ministry said that the denunciation by the Brotherhood terrorist group of the recent execution of prominent militant Adel Habara reflects the organization's support for terrorism. Habara was sentenced to death in 2014 for murdering 25 army personnel in northern Sinai in August 2013. Authorities executed him on Thursday, days after a top court rejected his final appeal. A day later, the Brotherhood terrorist group condemned his execution. The Foreign Ministry's statement said that the group's statement sympathizes with a militant who carried out a terrorist attack that was condemned by the entire international community, referring to the 2013 Sinai attack. It added that this was a clear response to those who still doubt that the Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. The ministry said that the terrorist group failed to acknowledge the rights the court had granted Habara, including multiple appeals, other judicial and legal proceedings. The trial went through over The course of 3 years.
It's now time for the latest updates from the military activities this week, brought to you by Nancy Sarah Barakat.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated on Thursday a number of new projects that were implemented by the Armed Forces Engineering Authority and the Ministries of Housing and Transportation. The inauguration included Road al-Farag Daba axes and the National Road Network projects. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called for ditching about 900 homes that were affected by torrential rains in the Red Sea Governorate, especially as people were moved to new houses. By the end of the year, about 225,000 housing units would be finalized within the framework of the social housing project launched in 2014. About 0.5 million housing units would be finalized by mid-2017. Minister of Defense Sadi Sobhi visited Sunday's Cairo church attack injured survivors who are receiving treatment at Al-Galala military hospital. Sadi stressed to the survivors that the Egyptian army and police will continue in their mission to eradicate radicalism and terrorism. Armed Forces Chief of Staff Mahmoud Higazi accompanied the minister on the visit. Defense and Military Production Sadi Sobhi met with Ugandan Minister of State for Veteran Affairs. During the meeting, they discussed the latest developments on the regional and international levels and ways of boosting bilateral cooperation between the two countries.
The Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriate Affairs, Nabila Makram, has received 2 official visits in Cairo. The first was with His Excellency the Secretary General of the Austrian Foreign Ministry, Michael Linhart, to discuss how to enhance bilateral relations between Egypt and Austria and ways of cooperation. Following this comes the second official visit with the assistance of the Foreign Minister of Greece, Terence Quick, and the visit's main aim was to find ways of mutual cooperation, especially that Egypt and Greece have a strong bond throughout history. Nile TV's Dina Hwaidek was there and conducted the following interview with the Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriate Affairs, Nabila Makram.
Joining me right now, Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriate Affairs, Her Excellency Nabila Makram. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Can you please talk to us about the 2 official visits that you have received today?
I had the pleasure to meet with the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs for Austria, and now I just finished meeting with the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs for Greece. We have, of course, mutual cooperation. I presented all the efforts that the my ministry is doing for the immigrants abroad, all the expats. I talked about the last conference about our scientists abroad, and in the same time we spoke about the illegal immigration problem. We agreed that we could do some cooperation together. I asked to know more about or learn more about the chances to work there for workers, Egyptian workers, to go there to Austria or Greece to work, that we could do some cooperation in picking the right people with their market there, the labor market there. So we agreed to do this. In the same time, I spoke to the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs of Greece about the new association that we are going to organize for the doctors and scientists abroad. They have an experience in that field, and we spoke about getting their experience in organizing our new our new organization for Egyptian scientists expats.
Do they have a special schedule that we're going to do, or nothing?
So far, we didn't have a specific schedule, but we will start with their ambassadors here in Cairo to build this kind of cooperation. Both of them invited me to Austria and to Greece to talk more about this mutual cooperation. In fact, the Assistant Minister for Greece asked me to have something like cooperation between me and him in order to promote even tourism for both countries, because both cultures and both links between the two countries should be promoted together. So we could do like a defense team between Greece and Egypt to promote tourism in both countries.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your time.
You're the most welcome. Thanks.
Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Magdi Al-Aghetti, said that the Cabinet and the Judiciary agreed to hold a conference to discuss issuing legislation to counter terrorism-related crimes. The conference aims at discussing amendments to the 1950th Criminal Procedures Law to speed up the trial of terror suspects. We have the details.
Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Magdi Al-Aghetti said on Monday at a press conference that the Cabinet and the Judiciary are currently preparing a conference to discuss issuing legislation to counter terrorism-related crimes. Al-Aghetti said that the Judiciary and the Minister of Justice have agreed that workshops will be held on the 2nd of January to debate what legislative steps should be taken to contain terrorism. He noted that the workshop debates will continue for almost 1 month, after which a public conference will be held on the 29th of January. Al-Aghetti said that the conference workshops will focus on amending the 1950s Criminal Procedures Law. He noted that different workshops will be formed to debate certain legislations, but the main focus will be on amending the current Criminal Procedures Law, which was issued more than 50 years ago. MPs and the Cabinet agreed that last week's Cairo church bombings had made amending terrorism-related legislations a pressing need. Al-Aghetti said that the law should be amended to speed up trials of terror suspects. Al-Aghetti said on Monday that proposed legislative amendments should gain consensus in a national conference before they are referred to Parliament. Invitations will be extended to MPs, judges, prosecutors, national security and intelligence officials, terrorism experts, university professors, lawyers, and even foreign ambassadors to attend the workshops to give their viewpoints on terrorism crimes and how legislation should be reformed to overcome them.
The Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Sahar Nasr, witnessed the signing of an agreement between the Executive Vice President of the International Finance Corporation and the Algebra Ventures with a cost of $10 million to create more fund opportunities for emerging companies in the information technology sector. Nile TV's Shuruq Bakir conducted the following report.
The Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Sahar Nasr, witnessed the signing of an agreement between the Executive Vice President of the International Finance Corporation, IFC, and the Algebra Ventures with the cost of $10 million to create more fund opportunities for emerging companies in the information technology sector.
Today, this signing ceremony that I witnessed is something I'm very proud of because it reflects several key pillars of the reform. The economic reform program that the government has launched focuses on inclusive and sustainable economic growth, but more important on job creation, and with a lot of focus on youth and the lagging regions. So today this signing is to support an innovative financial instrument, the venture capital. It's supporting an investment fund that will support the financing of entrepreneurs, startups, young firms that have a great potential to grow and to create jobs. And more important today, it's not just a signing between Algebra and the International Financial Cooperation, IFC, but it's also joining forces with EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and also the Egyptian American Enterprises Fund, which is also a model of the excellent partnership that the Ministry of International Cooperation is trying to put together. We're trying to make sure that donors are working closely together and that they are all with the strategy, the Egyptian strategy and the Egyptian priorities.
Technology and innovation are two main factors in achieving progress for the Egyptian economy and, of course, more job opportunities for the youth.
This fund is dedicated to venture capital, which means it's high-risk companies that want to venture in new ideas, in innovation, in technology, which traditionally is not financed by banks or the traditional instruments, but rather is a high risk, high gain. And we believe in the gain. We believe that we have a very good talent pool in Egypt based on the number of good universities we have, based on the bright Egyptian youth and their sheer number. We have a lot of youth in this country. And we want to invest in that youth to develop their ideas into real solutions that can compete local, regional, or global. We have examples of startups that out of Egypt have been able to produce global products, and we want to invest in that. So that will create many things. First of all, we'll create jobs, because those successful companies start with 2 or 3 people, but when they are successful, they wind up having 200, 300, so that's 100 times growth in a matter of few years.
Availability of financing for the emerging companies in the information technology sector comes under the state's effort to support entrepreneurship, stimulate innovation, and create job opportunities for the youth. Shuruq Bikir, Nile TV International.
The Association of Upper Egypt for Education and Development has a program in cooperation with the European Union that offers education opportunities for everyone whilst promoting individual freedom, creativity and human dignity. Amira Gindi was at the association's Festival for Creativity and Art and filed in the following report.
The European Union is cooperating with the Association of Upper Egypt for Education and Development to fund an arts program for youth. The association is a non-governmental organization that aims at enlightening the minds of children and youth as well as enhancing their skills. The EU selected Upper Egypt for their funded program going on for the last 2 years so as to support the access and participation of 13 disadvantaged communities as a means of cultural and arts expression.
I think it's a very peaceful mean of expressing what you have on your mind, of expressing who you are, what you believe in. And it's great to have this expression put in one form or another, whether it's dance, whether it's art, as we see here on written art, so that people can actually see who you are and what you think, and then you can open up a dialogue on this particular point.
The association goes back to 75 years of civil work and education. The main aim of its work is to maintain sustainability in its activities for youth. The activities include education, utilized as a means of expanding people's choices and build a comprehensive vision.
How to encourage them to exit their talents, all talents, how they can solve their problems in their communities through artists, through drawing, through theater, through pantomime. They thinking all the time what we have from problem, how we can solve this problem. How we can do this together, how we can live together. This is the main point in our culture program in association.
Within the framework of continuous improvement of a learning environment for youth, they are performing activities that enhance their skills and encourage others as well as children to enhance their artistic talents.
كان هدفنا كله ان احنا ازاي نقدر نغير في المجتمع بتاعنا في الفئات المستهدفة اللي محتاجة ده بجد اللي هي المدارس، اشتغلنا مع المدارس.
Our aim is to change our community through artistic activities in schools and orphanages. The idea is to encourage arts through linking between games and art. In the end, the association is to encourage innovation and creativity to keep up quality through varying methods of expression and encouragement of critical thinking. The Creativity and Arts Festival asserts the fact that youth are combating terrorism through their expression of various arts. This is Abida Gindi, Nile TV International, Cairo.
Finally, we bring you our tourism magazine, which brings us the latest interesting news related to tourists and attractive destinations in Egypt, brought to you by Abir Mitwai.
A Medal of Arab Tourism of the Excellent Class has been bestowed on President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in appreciation of Egypt's role in enhancing inter-Arab cooperation in the field of tourism. This came as President el-Sisi met with the head of the Arab Tourism Organization, Dr. Bandar bin Fahd al-Fahid. The President signaled Egypt's support to the Arab Tourism Organization, particularly as Egypt's tourism, with the diverse tour destinations, has recently been recovery. The Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, the UNWTO, has recommended that countries immediately lift the travel ban they have imposed on Egypt, saying that such a restriction increases the suffering of the country that endured a terrorist attack. Talib Rifa'i, who is a Jordanian citizen, highlighted during a press conference in the Egyptian tourist-friendly city of Luxor that the UNWTO regulations entail that when a travel ban is instated, it should have a time and geographical frame, adding that it should be done in consultation with the country concerned. The UNWTO chief stressed that the organization selected Luxor in Egypt to hold the conference titled Cities, Local Culture for Global Travelers as a message to the world on the safety of Egypt.
With this, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up today's episode of Inside Egypt, where we brought you the latest political, economic and cultural events taking place here inside Egypt. My name is Angie Meher. Many thanks for watching.